February 22nd. This is the meeting for the business, for Goffstown Economic Development Council. We're going to do a roll call. We'll start with Derek.
Hi, Derek Horn.
Steve Langley.
Marie Boyle.
Al DeRusso, Chairman.
Steve Fournier.
Charlie Tentis.
And this evening, we have a few things. And one of the things that I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to cover the minutes from the last meeting. Can I get a motion on moving the minutes for 125? From? Okay. Second? Derek or Charlie, either one. Any changes, corrections, deletions? I just made a note to Marie that I've graduated from vice
Wow.
to actual chairman. Anyway, but outside of that, I didn't see anything, any changes? None? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, unanimous, 5-0. All right, very good. What I'm gonna do is, I'll have Scott Gross, you wanted to speak to us? Selectman Gross? Sorry.
Thank you.
I'll try to keep it short.
4 scores, 7.
I just wanted to briefly address the board about plans for the Business Expo that's being held at Goffstown High School on March 19th, and wanted to encourage members of the EDC to, feel free to contact local businesses and encourage them to participate. One of the things that we got out of last year's, a couple of takeaways, was we had it in May and the weather was so nice that we didn't have quite the foot traffic that we'd like, so we bumped it into March. Hopefully it will be a rainy day or a cold day, so people will be encouraged to come to the high school. We also found that there was a lot of networking that went on amongst the business owners, which was very helpful. And I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a contractor, and he was saying that he hooked up with this guy who was an electrician, and they each were referring, business to each other. So there is some good opportunities there for the networking piece as well. So any help that we could get from you folks in terms of contacting local business owners and encouraging them to participate would be great. I do have extra forms. We did do a mailing to all the Goffstown businesses that we had on the EDC site. And Derek, you worked on that for us. I just want to thank you for doing that. And so that went out about 3 weeks ago. And I don't know the exact count because at the Lions Club, we're doing this with both the Goffstown Lions Club and the Pinardville Lions Club. And Marianne McKenna has is working on the number of booths, et cetera. But again, any help that you could provide would be great. And I think you guys are having a booth there.
Yes.
There as well.
Yep.
So.
Speaking to that, do we have for those who, on the EDC site, you have all the vendors that choose to be on that site. Do we have a distribution list for that?
Yeah, it's all in we have it in an Excel spreadsheet, so we can generate, any type of mail merge for any contact information that we
No,
have.
but we're talking about like an email blast. Are there emails that?
We do for not all the businesses,
But, okay, because that's one of the things we should probably have is a distribution site, a distribution list for that.
Is that something that if you have a list, Derek, is that an email list? Is it something that you could send out, just a reminder?
Yep.
If you're interested?
and if
You can give them my phone number.
And if we can get a copy of where can we get a copy of the form so we can send it out on the
Derek, they have that.
I can email all
You can
that.
send it out as a PDF within that
Yep.
distribution and just emphasize once again that this is a great opportunity for people to network and work with others, and we can put out maybe a couple blasts between now and March 19th.
Right, now this is all open to the public. I just wanted to obviously the vendors are local businesses, but we want the public to come and to see what our local businesses have to offer. They'll be offering gift certificates, free giveaways, coupons, free samples, things of that nature. So worked out pretty good. It was in its first year, and that's why we're trying to springboard off of that. But we got some good feedback from the business owners last year.
Well, while we have you here then, do we still have this, the road sign, the lighted sign?
We do have those reader boards.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just, I don't know if it's a proper use or not, or is
we
it?
did.
Is it an
Last
option
year,
to?
we did use it, and my plan is to is to contact DPW and have them place the reader boards, you know, to advertise it themselves. You're talking about, for the businesses you're talking about, vendors still?
Well, no, just promoting, just so we can promote the Business Expo itself. I mean,
Right.
it's just another way of people understanding
Yeah.
that there is gonna be an expo, put it out there, 'cause the March 19th is coming quick, and I would say that most people, like you say, you haven't received a lot of firm commitments of those businesses that would apply, and there's probably maybe there's a lot of public that would like to participate or go see, but yet there's just not enough word out there. It's a difficult word to get out.
And there are a lot of home businesses which participated last year, you know, people who might sell, you know, Avon or, you know, Mary Kay, et cetera. We had a lot of those folks, Pampered Chef. And then there are other folks who may have a home business that you don't have a storefront per se, but, if, you know, I know someone who repairs computers at their house. You know, those are the types of things that you can get your name out there, so.
Are you going to, are you going to do a directory at the entrance for everyone that's there?
We did, yeah.
And where they may be located?
Yes.
Because I know there were 3 sections
Yeah,
last year.
We did that. I have to check with Mary, I know we had a listing of everybody that was there, but you're talking about, okay, what,
Just some sort of idea of
yeah,
where they were.
a map or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it may be hard to do. I'm not sure how you,
Not really, it's all laid, for the most part, with the exception of the people who are the last minute,
Yep.
we do have it,
There's a plan.
it's a plan.
yeah,
The
okay.
Lions Club has a plan on it.
All right, so Derek will do an email blast then with the forms to help out. I'll try to remember what businesses were there last year, and I'll try to contact some of them, make sure that they're, see if they're interested.
Yeah, any help that
Yeah.
anybody could do in that regard, would be greatly appreciated, you know, the more the merrier.
Price on a booth was,
They range from $50 to $75, I believe, depending
on how
upon
much
the
room you need.
size. And
Depending
then-
on size,
and if you want
tables, chairs,
tables, chairs,
electricity.
if you need
Okay.
electricity, it
All right.
does vary in price, but it's, you know, it's
but it's on the form.
on the form.
And
Okay.
for some clarification, last year there was concern, well, there was a question that rose after, and I remember being from the trust as far as they came and they wanted to distribute food, et cetera, but yet there seemed to be some conflict there. Has that been?
That was actually a miscommunication.
I know it's
What
a-
happened was
yeah.
somebody could not make it, they gave their booth to a food vendor.
Yeah.
And we had to be very careful because for health you can't sell food, and there was also, the Lions Club was providing lunch, so there's a little bit, but you can provide samples, and this
Samples.
person came and they were selling things, and
But I wanted to
because they subleased their, somebody kind of sublet it, you know, their space, and they didn't kind of communicate.
So there will be there will be.
There will be food
Food
provi-
vendor,
yeah,
and
food
if someone wants to have samples, that's what I was trying to clarify.
right.
Okay.
But they will be
That-
selling.
Um,
The Lions is the only one selling.
correct.
Okay.
And if there is a restaurant or a food business that is interested, you know, Mary Ann will work out all the details. If you want to provide samples, we do have use of the high school kitchen, so if you do want to keep things refrigerated or you need things heated up to provide samples, that you can do.
Okay.
And when you say Mary Ann, I don't know if you want to.
Mary Ann McKenna.
Okay, if you
I
want,
don't have her phone
Don't have
number
her
on.
phone.
Did you happen to know her number off the top of your head?
would that be available through the
It's
Lions?
on the
site?
website,
Yeah, it's in the book too.
yeah.
They live up on Patty Hill Road.
But she'd be the person to contact with questions or make.
Or you can call town hall and we'll get you information.
Question. Is there any kind of signage made up that can be put in the bulletin board at Hannaford
There
or
is,
Sully's or Shaw's?
The Lions Club is working on the advertising. They're putting ads in the Goffstown News and the Union Leader, and I have to find out if the maybe perhaps the Hippo as well. So and then we also are going to request signage at House and some other places.
businesses.
Yeah, and then the reader boards.
Houses get a reader board.
Talking, yeah,
Well, one that he can put up.
right. That's what we're
letters
going to
on.
request, and I'm talking about the town's electronic reader boards.
Yeah, I know about that, yeah.
Maybe get John Heichel to put it on his reader board too.
You can do it on Bartlett School too. They have one.
Okay, while you're here, to talk, you know, maybe it's a good time to talk regarding what EDC, you said you wanted to go there for as far as a booth, as far as to promote EDC, is that?
Yeah,
I mean, if you wanna go to the
we've
specific
signed
part.
up for a booth, the EDC signed up for a booth primarily to show off the website, but also hopefully to talk about 79E, if that's passed at town meeting, to talk to some of the businesses that be located in those areas, and then also to network with the businesses there.
Okay.
which would probably be a good time for us to expand any type of distribution list, or for those people who wanna advertise on the EDC site to.
Right. Well, we'll have a, can
We're
you
gonna-
have a list that day of all the businesses that are on our site, a
We're gonna
printed
have-
list?
We're gonna have a laptop there, so we should be
Okay.
able to do real-time updates to it
So
there.
if people are not on the list, they can get on it, which would be a good thing. Okay.
That's it.
So, all right, anybody else
Does
with?
the Lions
Scott?
Club have a list of how many businesses have already signed up? Would they have that?
They do, Mary Ann has that, I just don't, I spoke to her about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We're trying to just coordinate when we can get in there for the setup and all, but I don't know the exact number. I think last year we had about 40, don't quote me, I think we had about 40 businesses that participated.
The reason I ask is because lots of times if it was posted somewhere on the internet, you could have other companies that may look, consider, oh geez, if they're gonna be there, I need to be there.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's an opportunity to list them somewhere and
Yes.
let people know.
yeah.
As they sign, that's not a bad idea, as they sign up.
Yeah, I can certainly get with Mary Ann and maybe post that on the website, on the EDC portion of the site.
I think lots of times it's fear of the unknown. If people don't know who's going, they're not gonna sign up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think what we were working off of was the fact that we had a pretty good turnout last year, and there were people, the feedback that we got was, can you put it a little bit sooner in the year, to take advantage of the fact, because the weather was so nice that one day, it was like 80 degrees. And, yeah, it was just gorgeous, and I think a lot of people were out, doing yard work and enjoying the day, so hopefully March will not be as, good weather, but. Well,
we can all
that's
have
why people, that's why they
businesses.
usually have home shows and things of that nature, in February, March, to take advantage of that type of, people staying indoors. Anything else?
Very
Right.
good. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
I
Scott.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you stopping
Have a good
in.
night.
Um,
Hopefully you'll plug this for us, right? We got
I talked to his boss today, don't worry, we're all set. I talked to his boss today, we're all set. All right, next I have on here is, community revitalization tax relief incentive. Just so that everyone knows, we did, Charlie, Derek, and myself did a tape, at the studio. We actually did two. The first one didn't come out as successful as they wanted, and, so we did a second taping, and that taping is, if you go to On Demand, GTV On Demand, you can pick it up there, and Derek hopes to have it available on the website. Today, Derek and I spoke to, the Rotary Club this morning, and, have some very positive feedbacks from them. They thought it was a very good idea, and, so, short of, I don't know if we should be writing a letter to the editor type of thing at this point, or should we just, or have we done enough?
I think it'd really be, how you'd want to approach it. Robbie Grady said that she has a space in the Goffstown News every week, and she is gonna dedicate, I believe it's this week's article to
Okay,
the benefits of 79E.
okay. And if that being the case, then we don't have to make it redundant, we can just let her do her letter. Let's see if there's anything else on RSA 79E. Oh, the only other thing that I mentioned to Derek is that hopefully, this will pass, and when it does, we need to put a plan together on how we wanna get, in touch with businesses and let them know the availability of this and how to sign up if they're interested, to do any expansion and that type of stuff, so we'll have to be thinking about how we're gonna do that, as well. Put a plan together, start thinking about it. I'd be very shocked if this didn't pass, but stranger things have happened, for whatever reason. I still haven't been able to see any downside to it, and so I just, of course, I'm seeing it from our perspective, so. I think that's all I have on that one there. Anybody have anything else to offer on it? Okay. Now, you're here tonight to just listen or to EDC, or?
Brian's expressed an interest
Oh.
in joining, but right now, we don't have any open membership slots. I know
Okay.
we've reached out to a couple members that haven't been in a while, and,
We will have an opening.
okay.
If you wanna come forward to talk to us and, explain why you would like to serve on the board, so we can listen to you, and, then we can, have a little discussion, I guess, and then at some point, have you filled out an application?
Yep.
Okay, great. Then, why don't you come forward and, tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay.
Please.
Thank you. My name is Brian Hanson. I've been a resident of Goffstown for 11 years now. My wife and I live in High Street, and I'm a businessman, and I've been observing the politics in town for a while. I go to a lot of the budget meetings, and I go to the meetings in April. And I understand that there are a lot of economic issues we have in this town, namely the property taxes, and I listen to those dialogues really carefully. And it occurs to me that one of the best way to attack the property taxes, the property taxes is to bring in more revenue for the town. So what I'd like to do is, observe what you folks do here and your ideas on how to create revenue for the town and possibly contribute. My background, I've never had a real job in my life. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I've done pretty well. I'm excellent at marketing. I'm okay at sales, and every once in a while I have a pretty good idea. So if I could contribute somehow, it'd be a delight.
Sounds good. Any questions for him? Have you, you said that you're in business for yourself now?
Yes, sir.
Would I be too forward to ask you what business it is, or?
Not at all, not at all. I used to own a company called Granite State Environmental. We're a hazardous materials remediation company.
Oh, okay.
We used to do all the rehabs for the city of Manchester, like in the lead, we used to do the lead paint issues for the city of Manchester and multifamilies. And right now I closed that down about a year and a half ago. And right now I flip houses. I flip
Oh.
a couple of houses a year.
Very good.
And that's what I do. I'm a self-employed guy, and my wife is an educator, and I've got 3 beautiful children.
Wonderful. So you're on you just live on High Street, you
Yes,
said?
sir.
Huh? Okay. I think, I know that we do have a member that will not be able to serve this coming year. I talked to him already, and he won't be able to serve. He said he could stay on as an alternate. Based on his work schedule, there's no way that he would be able to be a regular member. So we will have an opening, and where the application is there, we'll take we'll have to look. Do you have a copy of the application at all, or?
I don't have one with me today, but
Okay. Well, if you could bring it for the next meeting so we can see the application, and then we can forward our recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. And then once that goes on, I would say that everything goes through by April, you can become one of the members of the board.
That sure be nice.
And we can contact you and let you know where we stand. Trying to think of anything else that I can. Oh, that's great. We're looking for people to want to serve, because we rotate people out because they get other commitments and they can't do things
course.
sometimes. So
Yeah.
that'd be great. All right, Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome to stay. We're not gonna be much longer,
Thank
but
you.
you're welcome to listen. Speaking of the membership, the person I was talking about was Dick Bruno. He would like to be a possible alternate and not be a regular member. So they know that position open. Now, who else is up for membership this year?
I believe Charlie is up. He was finishing off.
Oh, that.
And then for Dan Reedy's term.
Okay, so are you gonna wanna renew? Okay.
And then yours is up as well,
I'll renew as well. And that's where we stand right now? There's no other renewals?
as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have the list with me
So
tonight.
we have that one opening at this point in time.
Okay, great.
What we'll need to discuss, though, is we do have an alternate, Steve Piscucci?
Yep,
He's an alternate, right?
yes.
Okay.
And then Brian King is still listed as an alternate, and it was my understanding he was not gonna serve any longer, but we can't find any documentation,
Okay.
emails or anything, and I have not got a return call from
Okay.
him yet, so.
Well, we got time, because
Yep.
we got the March meeting anyway, and
Yeah.
then we gotta just send everything forward to the selectmen to
Yep.
make a stamp of approval. So, let's see. Any other business for tonight?
I'd just like to talk about membership a little bit. It
Sure.
seems like there's quite a few people that are on this board that never show up. And if you have people that want to serve, you can't have them on the board because we have these inactive members. How can we deal with that?
That's an issue. That's an issue because I don't think we have any rules or regulations that control attendance. I had the same problem a couple years ago in and the reason, what we did is we reduced the size of our board. I think we were at 14 or 15 people at that time, and we brought it down to 9 because we couldn't get a quorum for our meetings. It's embarrassing to have somebody come here to do a presentation and then, you know, we don't have a quorum for them. So, we reduced the size of the board for that reason. Let me find out if there's something we can do, or if it's something the selectmen have to do in terms of attendance. You know, considering it's a monthly thing, you get 12 meetings a year. If you miss X, is that, you know, without an excuse? So in other words, like tonight, Derek had one person that called him and said they couldn't make it. Well, if a person calls and says they can't make it, you know, do we run into allowing excuses, and how many do you allow, and, you know, those types of things. So we have to look at that. And you're right, there are some people that, someone that hadn't attended for almost a whole year, and then he started showing up again. So how do you, I'm not sure how to deal with
I
that.
understand it's a volunteer position and
It
you
is.
can't really pressure people to do it, but if you're gonna, you know, make the effort to be on the board, you should
Should attend.
attend.
That's right.
You know, at least most of the time. Everybody has times they can, but.
Right.
Sometimes the driving factor for that is that, and we'll be coming up on this year, is that we're have to gonna set what our priorities are for this year, and people have an understanding what's expected, where we're going. It changes that philosophy versus, hey, I'm just showing up at that meeting on each month. I mean, looking back at last year, I mean, obviously 79E was a big part for getting an article out there, and Derek did an excellent job on the website, and obviously we talked to work within the Business Expo, but I think there's something, you know, as we go forward into next year, that we want to reach out and make people more, create a greater awareness of what the EDC is here for, and at that point, we're actually gonna have to look at ourselves and say, what do we really want to fulfill here, and what tasks do we want to take on? And I think when you start fulfilling with the, you know, setting those goals and fulfilling those functions, I think it does create a different atmosphere as those people who do attend, understanding where they're going, and they can see that vision. That could help. So I mean, there's a couple pieces in there that I agree with you, that one, people have to be dedicated to the process, but two, when we as a group got to set those goals and have an understanding where we want to go and what we want to accomplish. And I mean, obviously, Al, you know, Al, you'll be driving that, but I mean, I just think it's just one of those pieces.
No, I agree, and some of the things that we have listed down here were more generalizations, and I know that one year, was it 2 years ago, we got into the recreation aspect, and we were pushing a lot of recreation in town, the hiking trails and, you know, boating on the lake and that type of stuff, and down the river. So, yeah, I agree. I think once we have our group together, I think we sit down and take a look at where we wanna go, and I know this, should this RSA 79E pass, that could be a good catalyst for us to talk more with individual businesses to see if they're interested in expanding in town, and that'll help. And then trying to get back, I know that we have down here supporting Goffstown Industrial Development Corporation. We haven't heard from them in a while, so maybe we need to find out where they are with, I know with McQuillan and that.
Yeah, Tony's been out of town and he won't be back till probably the spring, so.
So when he's back,
And we should be, and we, you know, this is just me, I mean, throwing out some thought process, you know, and we can just, you know, obviously, most people are familiar with SWOT, you know, strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, and we should be looking at those pieces first and trying to break it down, what opportunities there are within town, what are those, and it could be regulations and that slow things down. We should be taking a look at those and taking a larger view of it and how we, in other words, there's gonna be some pieces that we can have influence on and some that we can't. But we should be understanding not just the idea, we'd like to do this, but what is hindering us from going to those places? Like I hear some people talk about the setbacks. Maybe that's something that, though from EDC we can't change, but maybe we could, in other words, talk with planning board, zoning board, maybe that's an article for next year. I mean, I'm not saying that's the one, but just a thought process that's out there. In other words,
Yep.
what is hindering the process of going forward beyond what we already have here today?
No, I agree. And attendance is an issue. Besides just calling people up and say, gee, you didn't attend a meeting, we really could use your help in doing that, but I don't know if there's anything I don't know if there's any bylaws anywhere that say things about attendance for board meetings. So I think it's something we need to look at. I would hate to get into making it too strict, but at the same time, you're right, we need to make sure people show up.
Well, and then people that, wanna serve can't serve because the position is filled by someone who doesn't
Right.
serve.
Right.
Yep.
I have a question too, could we get a list of all of us with our home addresses and phone numbers? Sometimes it's just as simple as if we don't see someone here, giving them a quick phone call, just to encourage them to come, that we need you. And we need you to be here as part of the team.
You have that list?
I do.
Okay.
Can email that
So
out.
if you could email that out to everyone. Is there anyone that you don't have an email list or email from?
No, I've got everybody's email.
Okay, everyone has an email?
Yep.
Okay.
One other thing, if I can add too, is we're kind of looking and setting goals and strategizing too, as we move forward as a board. I think we have a great opportunity at the Business Expo. And as people come in and we have our booth and we can talk about, RSA 79E, but maybe it's asking some probing questions of people as they come in. What are some of your concerns? If we can kind of put our ear to the rail with our customer base, so to speak, the townspeople, and other business people that are there in the booths, that might help us steer the ship in the right direction too.
We tried a little bit of that last year. We didn't have enough people to man. There was just, 3 of us last year?
Yeah.
That were there for the day. And we tried, I know I went to a lot of the booths, individual booths, to talk to people and, didn't get into a lot of mixing up in terms of what they were looking for, but just trying to see what kind of business they had, how things were going, are there things that we can do or things that we can be helpful with and that type of stuff. But I didn't get to everybody there. So maybe what we can do is kind of split that up this time and try to do that.
Definitely.
Talk to all the different people that are there. Now, I know that, yes, Brian?
May I make a suggestion that just kind of
Sure.
augments that a little bit?
Go ahead.
Certainly, talking to people at the expo would be fruitful. However, having an ongoing dialogue with those people might even be better. And it goes a little bit in line with what Derek was saying before with sending emails to people. A lot of times when you send out a mass email, it'll get bounced out or into people's spam folders and things like that. So when you send something like that out, you have to send out through something like Constant Contact. So people will opt in. And if you have everybody opt into your Constant Contact, you can maintain like a year-round sort of marketing dialogue with these people. So instead of, if you miss them at the expo, then you can just kind of send out, say, quarterly, updates on what your committee is doing and just sort of engage those people in the dialogue to get their feedback on what's going on. Moreover, it makes this committee more relevant because if they're sort of a fire hose of information, then they can get out to the smaller cottage, industries like you mentioned before, like people make dolls and they bring them to the expo and those home businesses and stuff. If you are sort of a network of human communication through something like Constant Contact that people opt into, then you can regularly send them email. And if you attack it like a marketing problem, like, look, we're not getting feedback from our customers, like you said, if our quarry is these folks, then we should get feedback from them. And certainly that one day would be nice. But to engage everybody in a dialogue will not only raise your relevance, but you'll find out from those people what they need and how to better serve them. And eventually this will be a sharper instrument.
Great idea.
You know what I mean?
Can we link from the EDC site into, let's say, a suggestion site or one that has dialogue back and forth?
If you send out, if you send out.
I mean,
every-
I'm looking, I'm trying to understand the communication piece, how that works.
Sure, if you send out quarterly emails, right, let's say hypothetically somebody on the committee volunteers to do quarterly emails to everybody that's on Derek's list. Fair enough? All right, here's what we're doing, here's what's going on, here's the updates on RSA 9070, here's what's going on in Holly Hobby's toy company or something like that. And you ask people for information back, even make up like gimmicky little stuff to get people involved, give away a $50 gift certificate to something or something like that. Just sort of hit them with the email, get the hook in them and have them give you feedback and ask questions like, hey, we're in trouble, we're coming up with we're gonna give a $50 gift certificate to somebody with the best idea on how to revitalize downtown or something crazy. I'm being absurd, but you get the idea. If you just get people engaged in a dialogue where they wanna give you some input, I think what you'll find is some really great ideas, because everybody's out there trying to make a buck, and everybody's out there hustling and do a lot of work and stuff like that, so it's a time for some real ingenuity, and you may as well tap into that. Moreover, if your committee is the sort of epicenter of that, it's gonna make you guys relevant. So it's gonna speak to people not showing up to the meetings. It's gonna speak to people wanting to be engaged in this dialogue. If we are the sort of start of that dialogue, we'll get people involved.
I think one of the things we probably should do is, we should do writing of updates of where we are and what we're doing. Instead of relying on someone, to come in from a newspaper or something to write things about, we should be doing something on a regular basis, and it should be up on our website as well. One of the things that now we have the business directory, now would be nice is, and I'm not sure if we can do it or not, but as we add people to the directory, that we actually announce that on our website, added to the Economic Development Directory Guide, are the following businesses this month, type of thing, so that they get a click, a thing in there that says, if it's a dollhouse business or whatever it is, it could be a lumber business, it could be cordwood, it could be almost anything, but they're on the website that you say, okay, here we have some new people that have signed up to be on this. They're located at such and such an address, type of thing. Just to give them a small plug, because we've been doing that with the newer buildings that have gone up in town with the pictures. We've done that. And so, and I think we probably need, and the first couple people, or at least as many people as we can get that take advantage of the RSA 79 should it pass, get that on the website as well, that, they've signed up. Of course, there'll be a public hearing and so on, but after the public hearing, once it's been approved, let people know this is where we're at, and then try to give updates as to how it's going, which would help. But you're right, promoting us is the important part right now. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanna jump in. I agree with you totally, Brian. There has to be a place where there's an environment that's created where these things exist. Because right now, we have a Main Street program which services the village. And you'll hear a lot of concerns regarding, in fact, I was just sitting at a local business, and I won't, without saying names, earlier today, and there was that discussion regarding, how when you're in Pinardville, you're not part of that process. You're not part of the full business piece that happens within the Main Street program. And so part of the when I look at EDC, it's like, how do you tie those, we do have two sections of town, how do you tie them together? But the other piece is that I think once you create the environment where you can have these communications and it starts going out, it will propel itself. Is that what you're saying, Brian?
Sure.
I don't wanna put words in your mouth, but I look at that, you can't push that, you just have to create the environment where it comes and it propels itself.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe I'm off base, but that's
No,
my thought.
It's kind of like it's always work. It's always work. Marketing is always work. You gotta, there's no, honestly, Steve, if there was a secret way to do it, like, you'd figure out the secret way to do it, and then you just sit there collecting your checks every month. But for something like that, you gotta create dialogues that people wanna be involved in. Certainly, having a list of lots of businesses with lots of folks that wanna make a buck too, and, connecting them all together and, combining resources or ideas or something like that is what is the fundamental part of a community, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a community that benefits everybody and hopefully makes a couple bucks and defrays the property taxes, you know what I mean? I think anyway, that's the way I see it. But, yeah, and another part about that Pinardville and Goffstown thing is, this town is funny in the sense that it doesn't really have much of an identity. Nobody, you look at Bedford, you're like, yeah, that's the first town that everybody lives in. look at the other towns, it would be fun and interesting if we came up with like a thing for Goffstown. Even if we make it up, who cares? You know what I mean? If we totally make something up. Garden capital of the world or something like that. I don't know.
One of the-
It'd be fun. It'd
Yeah.
be fun to get people involved. I mean, the pumpkin regatta is a cool thing. That sort of stuff gets people excited and engaged.
One of the things that one of the difficulties we face is we're like 3 towns in one. You've got Pinardville, Grassmere, and then the village. And trying to keep them all connected together, you know, you can say it's Goffstown, but to people that live in those areas, they refer to themselves as Pinardville, Grassmere, or the village. So it's a never-ending battle, but I think as we start to promote various businesses, of things that are going on, and new businesses that come in, it may give us a chance to come up with some sort of identity and come up with something that may work, some sort of catchphrase, and then try to see if we can, you know, work with it. So. No, I think that was a great idea.
And constant contact costs $11 a month. For up to 1,000 contacts. I'm sure you guys can come up with $11 a month.
That's peanuts.
It's not bad.
We still have some budget left, no. Do we have any budget left this year? You didn't use it, you lose it. No, we have.
We'll make a revolving account for your $12.
Okay, anything else? Anything new?
One other thing I was gonna ask is,
Go ahead.
with that back road, with that situation with the city of Manchester and allowing trucks to come
Yep.
on Goffstown Back Road, any updates on that?
Well, here's a couple things. Until you really have something in hand that really wants to be there, you're fighting a difficult battle, because what they ended up by doing on the original notes that I read is they grabbed everyone from that west side area, all the way down Straw Road, all the way down toward where the old dump is in Manchester. They got all those people on board to try to stop trucking going through. So, and what we're looking at is, we're looking at a very small section of about 9 or 10 houses. Whereas they got 1,200 people that signed up to put the no trucks through there. So, I guess the way I look at it is that if I'm gonna choose a battle, I wanna choose a battle that I've got something that wants to be there. One, I want the owner of the property to wanna be involved with that. And then at the same time, do we have a business that goes there, and what will it be? So that it adds to helping us to at least get relief in that section. The other thing that's gonna happen, and it's down the road, you know, probably 15 years out, is they're looking to create a bypass, or not a bypass, but an additional exit on the other side of the college. And they're talking about bringing that road up into Goffstown from that section. So that's another possibility, and I'm not sure where it would go. Now, if it ends up by coming out on Straw Road, it kind of defeats the purpose of our trucking issue. You know, so we have to look at how it's gonna be laid out and where they're gonna go with it. But it's down the road a ways.
So we have to wait for a golden goose of a business to come in to fight that battle.
Yeah, I mean, it would help. I mean, we can sit there. I mean, there are some limitations you have there. Obviously, sewer is being one of them, and there would be a cost to bring the sewer up. You'd probably have to bring it up from Riverview Park in that area, down by the river, coming up on that side of the river, in order to be able to get sewer there. You could go septic, but again, depending on what kind of business it's going to be, the requirements are gonna be a little bit different. And then it looks like the towers are gonna remain there regardless, because that seems to be what the owner wants, is he's getting revenue from those towers. So, now I know he sold off, I don't even know if he sold off, did he sell the towers, or he sold the towers, right?
Yeah.
So the person that's got the towers is getting revenue out of that. So you've got 2 people to fight a battle with in that area. So it's something that we have to, it's a long range. But I think trying to find businesses right now to wanna come into Goffstown, we have so much room, available from Pinardville all the way to the village. There's a lot of possibilities, and try to get somebody to take advantage of that is what we'd like to do. I know that, there was mentioned tonight, someone was supposed to stop by about, bike shop. And, but he didn't make it tonight, so I don't know if he'll come to our next meeting or not.
Thank you.
With the, and the other thing to do is to pay attention to the rail trail. As they're expanding and they're developing that, it creates opportunities along that rail trail for different types of businesses, you know, so. And then we can go, once we see where we're at, we can go to these businesses and say, here's an opportunity, you know, that can take a look at and see if it works for you. May start off as something just part-time or seasonal, and then it could develop into something full-time. Anything else, Derek?
No.
No? Anyone? We're good? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion,
Okay,
or second, whatever.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.